let's talk about the top 10 cards that you might want to pick up from Battles of Legend Glorious Gallery. Now make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that 7 Tachyon button so you guys don't miss out on more Oscar. I think this is one of the most welcoming reprints out of this entire set because this gives players in both formats the chance to play some kind of underrated strategies, honestly. Isn't that what 7 Tachyon's been about? You know, it makes Xyz decks a little bit more consistent, while in the main format we can still play Catapult Turtle FTK because, you know, we still have that particular package legal for some reason. I am actually quite welcoming of this. I think this is one of my favorite reprints out of this set, just so you know, we can finally play some a little bit better Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. Time will tell with this one though, because when you're looking at reprints on this scale, I'm not exactly sure how cheap these are going to be, even though they're in the Ultra slot. So they still could be worth a couple dollars, but who knows. The Edison reprints. So this is Dupe Frog, Substitoad, Black Brodrago. I have already seen people complaining about Substitoad getting another reprint, but I don't know if you guys were looking at the market price on Substitoad, but he needed this. Substitoad was too gosh darn expensive for his own wants and needs, and he definitely needed to get cratered down a couple of notches to get more affordability going with this. Dupe Frog also needed a higher rarity upgrade that could be slightly more available to the player base, because up until this point, Dupe Frog was paywall behind a $40 rarity upgrade. Now, I guarantee you players are still going to go towards Dupe Frog as an older format card, for sure, just because they're going to prefer the original print for this. So we'll see where this one goes. It's the same thing that happened with Lone Fire Blossom, just over time. And then we got Mistaken Arrest and Shared Ride. Both of these cards kind of tend to rotate in and out of extremely bad formats, I feel like is the best way to say that, you know, the impact on those cards. I'm not exactly, I guess, too excited for this. I'm more excited for the rarity upgrade for Mistaken Arrest being a Starlight rare. I love that. That's very nice in my opinion. But I'm hoping Shared Ride also has that higher rarity printing that we can kind of enjoy just to kind of showcase, you know, where things are going. But with that being said, though, once again, you're getting good format defining cards here that actually allow you, you know, more ease of accessibility for the side deck. Mistaken Arrest and Shared Ride, when these cards do rotate into the format, they just have some of the weirdest price spikes. It's very interesting to see. Queen Dragon Djinn. This card was, up until its reprint, I never really understood, you know, why this card goes so crazy on the market. It is a generic rank 4 though, that is basically able to revive a dragon from the graveyard, and obviously, you know, what you're reviving is going to have its effects negated, which is a little bit annoying, but it was a generic reviver. Now it's finally got its reprint, and now, you know, if you're planning on wanting to play any of these older strategies, or maybe in the modern day, you're like, well, you know, what if I want to play Queen Dragon Djinn? You know, what if I've got some sort of strategy in the back burner here that could potentially, you know, want to bring this up to speed for a chance to play it? Well, guess what? You now have ease of access to picking this up. So I think that this was a pretty nice, you know, reprint, even though, you know, it seems worthless. The Endymion cards. So we did not receive the Vray in this set, but we got Jenny, we got the Endymion continuous spell card. We got all the little cards that really make this feel a little bit better for the Spellcaster Good Stuff pile, which is an improvement, honestly. I am a little bit curious to know how our Spellcaster pile will kind of evolve without Vray, because it's kind of a shame to not have access to Vray, but at the exact same time, you know, it's a meta situation that it's locked behind a manga promo in Japan. We might see it a little bit sooner here. If I had to guess, it might actually be in Chaos Origins as an import. I wouldn't be surprised if that was necessarily the case. So we'll be a little bit patient with that one. Which brings us to Dragoonity. Georgios, I think, is the coolest card within this set. Just with how generically broken and how lockable that he provides, you know, these little points of interaction for you to be able to kind of lock down the opponent. I am very excited, though, nonetheless, to be able to finally get some Dragoonity cards a little bit cheaper, just to be able to kind of enjoy them and see, you know, hey, how are these going to interact with the meta? And, you know, if it doesn't exactly take off, you know, will it still be a package that, you know, we can actually enjoy within, you know, the game itself? And I think there is something to be had with this. We're just going to have to be a little bit patient with, you know, the meta developments, because we do need the Hulk to make that card a little bit better. Which brings us down to the Shaddoll farm. Anytime that Shaddolls are going to be involved in a format, you're going to have the Winda enjoyers coming out of the woodwork here in full circle going, yes, we can finally do things. I played the Shaddoll deck. It's very, very, very rogue. You know, you don't really get to play Lev Shaddoll as a splash target. You kind of got to play the pure Shaddoll deck in order to really take advantage of things. But, that being said, though, I mean, you got branded variants running around all over the place right now. There's nothing stopping people from pulling, you know, Shaddoll Fusion back out of the brink of the abyss. And also, you know, we did see some branded lists that were side-decking the Shaddoll, you know, package, just to be able to unload the new Shaddoll Fusion monster on people. There is a very, very interesting possibility that this will be a fun deck for a lot of people wanting to play it. Then we have Fiendsmith cards. This was a budget player's dream with this set. And I know this for a fact because I've only heard positive things about the Fiendsmith package finally getting, you know, cheap, affordable reprints. Now, while we still have people in the background of this format that want Fiendsmith cards banned for, you know, some unforsaken reason. I don't know if it's just the salt patterns or, you know, the caloric intake of being destroyed by these cards has just gotten to players over time. It could be a little bit of both. I'm not really too sure, but the point here is Fiendsmith cards have become cheaper. Konami actually did a pretty big favor to the player base, actually pushing this out into availability. So I got a clap for you. I'm happy with this one, and I'm hoping that, you know, the budget players will finally get some Fiendsmith enjoyment time. Overframes. So the overframes this set are they better than Battles of Legend? I feel like they're better. They're more friendly to the player base, right? Except when I say the player base, the casual player base is going to be eating this up because Dragon Master Magia is within the set. Magia will be probably, I don't want to call it the Mirror Jade of the set, but there's a gosh darn real possibility that, you know, this overframe is going to break numbers just on the ultra rare for collectability. This is where we get to see collectability outpace playability. Even though Magia is a playable card, but collectors are going to be eating this up. It's pretty interesting to see how overframes will do long term within the market. And just, you know, as a generic pickup overall, but this set's not as good as Rarity, so we'll see how many are open. And then we have the Chibis. And Chibis are always a fun little concept, man. As long as they're not overtaking potential reprint slots in the set for things that I can pull, then I am perfectly okay with having these Chibis in the set as their own little gimmick. And this is, you know, where we talk about the little fun aspects of these sets. I do look forward to, you know, people getting the opportunity to enjoy the Chibi cards as a whole, because there's a little bit of something in here for everybody in this set. And I think that's actually what we were kind of hoping for. We were wanting to see some good availability to the player base. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.